In this video, I'll be talking about multiplying fractions. Here is an example. In this basic example, we're simply having 3 over 5 times by 4 over 6. So we're just taking the numerator times the numerator and the denominator times the denominator. 3 times 4 is 12. 5 times 6 is 30. Now we can see 12 over 30 to be both divisible by 2. So the answer that we would have, 30 divided by 2 is 15, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. So our final answer is 6 over 15. Here is another example. By multiplying the same method, 24 times 5, the answer is 120. Now if we times the denominator, 30 times 3, that would give us 90. We can further divide this both by 3. So we will end up with 40 over 30. Wait a minute. Now we can see the top and the bottom can both divide by 10. So let's do that again. So our final answer is 4 over 3. Looking at this example, we see that we simplify it quite a few times. So a good way would be to simplify before multiplying. So we're going to try an example where we are going to simplify before multiplying. In this example, 30 could be 5 times 6. And 45 could be 9 times 5. And 40 is equal to 8 times 5. And 10 will be 5 times 2. So here, we can see that we could simplify the 5 here, and then the 6 could be changed again to 3.2. And the 9 could be 3 times 3. So then we could simplify the 3 here. And same here, 8 can be changed to 4 times 2. So we can cancel out the 2. Now what we have remaining is 4, 2, 3, and since the denominator here are all crossed out, so we're left with 1. Then we just need to times them together. 2 times 4 equals 8. 3 times 1 equals 3. And we can't simplify anymore after this, so our answer is 8 over 3. Now let's take a look at the same question, but without simplifying. If we were simply to take 30 times 40, we would have 1200. And if we take 45 times 10, we will have 450. Now this looks like a big number to simplify after, so it would take multiple steps to simplify to the final answer. The numerator can divide by 10, denominator by 10, then we will have 120 over 45. Then we can see both numbers can be divisible by 5. Then we will have 24 over 9. Now 24 and 9 are both divisible by 3. And so our answer would result A over 3. Now this method works as well, but it's a longer process because then you have to divide the numbers multiple times rather than simplify before you multiply. Here is another example. By simplifying, we can simplify the numerator and the denominator, or we can simplify diagonally between the fractions. By looking at this question, we can see that 6 and 24 are both divisible by 6. And the 60 and 20, they're both divisible by 20. Now that we have the setup ready, we'll go ahead and simplify before we multiply. So the numerator here will be 6 times 1. And the denominator will be 20 times 1. The 60 will be 20 times 3. Denominator here will be 6 times 4. Then all we have to do is cross them out and cross the 20 out. And then what we have left, we would times them together. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 4 is 4. And that's our final answer. Now let's try another equation with bigger numbers. At any time during the video, feel free to pause the video if you need time to calculate yourself before the answer is determined. Now by looking at this question, what do we see that can be simplified? I see the 55 and 25, they're both divisible by 5. And I also see 46 and 24, both divisible by 2. So we'll write out like this: 5 times 11, 5 times 5, times 2 times 23, 2 times 12. Okay, so we can cross out the 5, cross out the 2, and now we're left with and by multiplying together, we'll have 253 over 60. 253 over 60. Now this can no longer be simplified further, so this would be our final answer. Now what if you times the fraction by a whole number? The first thing we need to do is convert the whole number to a fraction. So in this case, 9 would be equivalent to 9 over 1. So we'll write 10 over 3 times by 9 over 1. And here we can see 9 and 3 can both be simplified by 3. So we'll write it. So we can write it like this. Okay. And we can simplify the 3. And that's it. Then we are left with 10, 3, and 1 on the bottom. So the answer would be 30 over 1. And then that equals to 30. Now let's try one where we're multiplying 3 different fractions. Now since there are 3 different fractions, it would be more difficult to determine what number to divide each of them by. Since there are 3 different fractions, we can simply just simplify the best that we can and then just further simplify as we go. So for 14, we know we can times that 2 times 7. And 36 would be 6 times 6. 24 would be 6 times 4. 50 would be 5 times 10. 21 would be 7 times 3. 33 would be 3 times 11. Now we can just kind of go through the numbers and see which one we can cross out. So the ones that I see is 6 and 6 here. Then 3 and 3. Now we can also further divide the number. Example, the 6 here could be 3 times 2. And the 4 here could be 2 times 2. And the 10 here could be 5 times 2. Then we could cross the 2 out. Cross the 2 here. And what we are left with is 7, 2, 7, 3, 5, 5, 11. And by multiplying them together, I will have 98 over 550. Now 98 and 550 are both divisible by 2. So our final answer will be 49 to 75. So these are the examples of how to multiply fractions. I'll also have a video on how to divide fractions on the next video, so please stay tuned. Thank you for watching.